Right, got my green paper, and what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to do something called a dry brush technique on the paper, just to give it a bit of texture again. So with my brush, I am dipping the tip of the brush into the water. I don't want a wet paintbrush, I want a damp paintbrush. So I'm dipping the tip of the brush, that's all, into the paint, and then I'm choosing maybe some greens and yellows to do this dry brush technique. So I'm wiggling the brush across the white, the dry paint. Alex, sit down, you're really distracting me. Sit down. And then what I'm doing with my dry brush is I'm just brushing on the top of the paper to get that rough effect. So I'll show you that with the yellow again. The tip of the brush into the water, that's all. Waiting to get the paint nice and bubbly. Once it's bubbly, it's dry enough, and then I'm just going to brush those dry brush strokes across. Now you can do this with ready mix paint as well to give you the same effect. It just looks like grass when you do this in one direction, or you can do it quite rough. Sit still. Okay, so you get that sort of effect. Okay, so it looks a bit like grass. So you can do the dry brush technique for your bottom half. You can use liquid paint for that, or you can use ready mix paint, or you can use the paint blocks, or you can just stick down the green paper as it is. You can fringe either of those and do the concertina fold. So there's lots and lots of levels that you can go up here. So if you're primary 1, you're probably just going to want to stick down the paper as it is. If you're primary 3, you're probably going to challenge yourself a little bit further here, and you're either going to paint the paper or you are going to fringe it as well. But that's a choice that you make. Okay? Right, Alex, what one are you going to go for? You want to paint. Right, so remember, just a damp brush, and then you're sticking that down. Before you stick it down, you could even change the shape of it at this point if you want. Like, you could make it wavy, or you could make it zigzag and spiky. It's up to you. Right, I'm going to stick mine down while you're doing that. Okay?
What did you do? Just dab it down?
No, you're brushing. Did you not watch? That's not what I did.
Oh.
And it's a bit wet.
What did I do?
Yeah, that'll do fine. Just keep going. Just keep going.
Like that?
Yeah. That's it, that's nice. You like those brush strokes showing so it looks like grass. Okay, I'm just going to stick my A5 paper down at the bottom. Oh, it's fine. It'll dry. Okay. Let's go step 1 and step 2. This will dry, by the way. It's still just really, really wet there in the middle. Your brush is too wet. You're only supposed to put the tip of the brush into the water. You're putting the whole brush into the water. You've done already. Okay. Why did you bother putting the brush back? Right, next up. So we have got our grass done. We have got our sky done. Next up, what we're going to do is we are going to create a little Easter chick before we do the egg. Okay, so before we do our egg, we're going to do our Easter chick. Now for that, think of the size that you're going to want your chick to be. So when you select your yellow paper, think about the size you want your chick to be. Now, if it's really, really small, it's going to be really, really hard to cut out. So I've cut a square piece of paper about, what's that, about A6 size, that'll sit perfectly in the middle. And what I'm going to do, the easiest way to do an Easter chick is just to draw an oval shape. So just think of your thumb, think of your thumbprint. Okay, so on the back of the paper, I'm just going to draw an oval shape. Now, I always say to the boys and girls, when you're trying to draw an oval shape, if you try and do this with a pen, it won't be right. Okay, so what you need to start getting into the habit of doing, stop it, put that away, stop fidgeting. What you need to get into the habit of doing is something called back and forth technique. That's when you go back and forth with your pencil, lots and lots of little lines, and then you've got more control over it. So if you see my second shape, it's much more accurate. Okay, I'll show you again that on Alex Harris's spare piece of paper. So instead of just trying to go like this, okay, I see that a lot in primary schools, try and draw a circle, we try and do an oval, and we go like that. It never works, it never looks perfect, it never looks geometric. So what you do instead is you do a little technique called the back and forth technique when you're sketching, which is just doing lots of little lines back and forth, never really lifting your pen or pencil much. Back and forth, and then if it starts to go a bit wrong or it goes in the wrong direction, you can change it. Okay, so back and forth technique to get your perfect oval shape, and that will sit perfectly in the middle of my paper. So now I'm going to cut that out. Now when you're cutting a round shape, when you're doing a round shape, try to use slow cutting techniques. So you're opening your scissors as far as they go. Alex, do you want to draw your oval shape while you're waiting? When you're trying to cut out an oval shape, you don't want any edges to it, you don't want any jutty lines. So when you're opening your scissors wide and you're getting your paper right in there and you're just slowly cutting down. So open up, slowly cutting down. And I am turning my paper at the same time. So I'm opening up and I'm slowly turning the paper. I'm opening up and I'm slowly turning. So that's my 4th cut. Probably be able to do this in 6 cuts. Maybe 6 and a half. Oh, nearly 7 actually. Okay, so slow. So you'll notice I'm not going like that with my scissors, I'm just going slow, slow. And I'm getting the paper in there. So I've got my perfect oval shape for my check. Right, have you drawn your oval? Why do you want to use that?
Yeah.
Just try and draw it yourself. Try and draw it yourself, but don't go like that, just do lots of little lines. No, on the paper please, hurry up, we're all waiting. Lots of little lines, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, that's it. You've got more control that way. That's it, what a difference. I wish I could show everyone what you're doing right now. Alex tried to, he was just about to go like that, and then I corrected him. Look, now you've got more control over it. And that's a perfect shape. And if the angle starts to go, you can correct it. Excellent, really happy. Right, next up what I'm going to do on this before I stick it down is I'm just going to draw his face. If you want to draw his feet or his wings, you can. If at this point you want to colour those in with anything, go for it. But remember, it's only primary 1 to 3 should be, so we're not going too advanced here with that. So just again with your black pen, cut it out first with your very length scissors. I'll look those up for Harris. Next up what you're going to do is you're just going to draw in the middle a cute wee face. So just a wee triangle for his nose, some eyes. You just use both your fingers. I don't know where your scissors went from your room. Oh, they're over by the sink. Yeah. Okay, so just something like that'll do. A bit comical. And then that is going to sit in the middle of your paper, in between both those pieces. Okay, so right in the middle, in between the green and the blue. So I'm just going to stick that down while Alex is cutting out his little chick. And then we'll be moving on in a couple of seconds. And as per usual, I'll be posting this afterwards. So if you miss out on a bit, if the Wi-Fi went funny and it went a bit jutty, you can always catch up later. Or if you're busy doing other things, it is the holidays after all, then you can always re-watch it later. Okay, so we've got that sitting in between the two, not up the top, not up the bottom, because then it won't work for your egg. Okay, right, have you cut that out? Good job. And remember, there's lots of options there, so you even put that over the top of your green as well for an extra layer. It's totally up to you what you do with this. Now for the next step, you might not have anything like this because you might not have opened up any Easter eggs yet, because technically it's not Easter till Friday. This is one of ours from last year. It's filled with Haribo, I believe. Okay, so I kept them because I just thought perfect for moulds, or for doing paper mache in, or drawn round. So we're just going to use this as our template. So if you've got anything like this in the house, grab it right now. Not everyone will, let's face it. So you might want to freehand draw your egg. So if you're going to freehand draw your egg, now with the white A5 paper, which is half of A4 folded in half, that's going to cover up your egg, and that's going to sit perfectly in the middle. So if you're going to freehand draw it, like I showed you earlier, lots of little lines. Now, a good thing to remember is you want to try and fill the page. Now, sometimes people struggle with that. So what I would do is I would always put 1 finger space at the top, 1 finger space at the bottom, 1 finger space left, 1 finger space right. And I know that I've got to try and hit those points when I draw my oval. Okay? So that's there to help me. So I can freehand draw. Okay, I can freehand draw from one line to the other, and I know then that I'm going to get the perfect shape that I need. Okay, just glue it in. You got glue there? so I'm hitting those spots every time. This is a technique we do quite a lot in the classroom, just to get that size right. Okay, so then I can get my perfect egg shape just by hitting those spots. So if you don't have anything to draw around, hiya Sam, if you don't have something to draw around, finger space, left, right, top, bottom, and then join the dots. Because not everyone, let's face it, is going to have a plastic mould of a chocolate egg in the house. I'm just going to go and shut that door because Alex left it open and the wind's drafting it. 2 seconds. I'm back. Okay, so perfect. Right, draw your face on it and stick it in the middle, in between the green and the blue. Have you not stuck your green on yet? Oh. Cheapers, cheapers, cheapers. Right, so I've got my oval shape. I'm now going to cut that out, or if you want to be perfectionist about it, which I'm going to give this to Alex in a second to cut that out, he can use that because he's fallen behind the schedule. Okay, so again, it's an oval shape, boys and girls, mums and dads. So when you're cutting, try and keep your scissors nice and open. Get the paper right where that hinges and turn the paper as you're cutting. So you're not doing that and just using the tip of the paper. Tip of the paper, tip of the scissors. I don't know what's wrong with me, I had too much sleep, I think, last night. Mr. C got up early with Mirren and I got a longish lie. What I mean by longish lie is I didn't have to get up at 5 o'clock. I got up at 6 o'clock instead. I just feel like I've had too much sleep. Right, so I've got my oval shape there, perfectly cut. There's a wee kink in that, I'm not happy with the goodness of that. Okay, so I've got two, I actually had two. So I folded my paper in half because I thought Harris was going to be joining in this morning, so I thought I would cut his for him because I've said before, art is not Harris's favourite thing in the world. It's not a strong thing. Right, so I've got this, and I've got this. Alex, you're starting to fall behind quite a bit. Stick your chick in the middle between your grass and your blue sky and draw a face in it. Well, do it. What are you waiting for? Everybody's watching. I'm waiting on you. Right, draw a face. Quick, quick, and then stick it on. And then draw around the egg and cut the egg out. You don't need to copy mine. Use your imagination and your creativity. No. You won't end up seeing a lot of the detail on the chick at the top and the bottom, so don't go mental here. Draw loads and loads of feathers on the top, and as I said earlier, you could always colour in that little beak orange if you want, or you can add colour as well. That's up to you. Right, stick that in the middle of the paper, so between your green and your blue. Or you're going to use that. It's not the best point for getting orange. Cute. Cute, 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 cute. Right, stick that in the middle. No, in the middle, in between the green and the blue. I want to use orange on that as well now. Hurry up please, Alex, everyone's waiting.
They're waiting on you, Lizzie.
Oh, I'm waiting on you, I'm finished. I'm ready for my egg now.
So
put it in between green and the blue.
Yeah, I've never done that one.
I did actually, it's because the paper's all folded. Okay, coloured bangs, it just looked cute. Alex has been better than mine. Right, got my egg. Right, I've got two actually because I cut out one for Harris, but he's not here, so there's yours. Right, so what you're going to do now, before you stick this down, you want to burst a hole, and not destroy it. You want to burst a little hole in the middle of the egg. Now, don't destroy it, and don't tear from the sides of the egg. You're actually tearing from the middle, so give it a wee fold in the middle, just a little fold. Okay, and then what you're going to do is with your fingers, just give it a wee tear. Stop, and then open it up. Don't go mad here, otherwise you'll have to make yourself another egg. That doesn't matter, just fold it somewhere. Fold it somewhere. Just a little fold, not to the edges, just in the middle. And then just tear like that. Yeah, that's it, now open it up. Now you should have a little hole there to get you started. No, don't destroy it, take your time with it. Now, work out where the egg is going and where the bird's going at this point. Now with your fingers, open that up and just tear a little bit at a time. Don't go mad here. And double check that that's going to be in the right place. Then once you start to see where your chick's going to be, you can start controlling it a little bit better. Don't fast rip and don't destroy it, as Alex just said here. Just take your time. Okay, so I can see he's starting to come out of his egg, but I'm going to want it to go a little bit further. Don't take the little bits of paper away. keep them, peel them back. Okay, if one bit falls off, it's not the end of the world, but don't peel those bits of paper off. Oh, here he is. What should we call him? Charlie.
Right.
Charlie. Charlie.
And I'm gonna call him G.
Okay. It's starting to come out the egg. And I can stick that down once I've had enough. Okay. Oh, Lindsay's here. Hi, Lindsay. Okay. Right. Glue, please, Alex. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. A bit of glue in there. If you want to make this look even more realistic with a black pen or a pencil, you could at this point draw some cracks on your egg. And by the way, this does not have to be an actual chick. I've done this in the past with dinosaurs. So Glenn Davidson, I don't know if you still like dinosaurs, you used to love dinosaurs. If you like dinosaurs, this could be a cool dinosaur lesson that you could do. Maybe Mummy would help you draw a dinosaur. And you could actually stick that on instead. So just put a bit of glue around my chick. Stick the egg so you can see the chick coming out of the egg. Okay, and that could be your lot. You could be done at this point, so the numbers might start dropping now. Or you could start doing a little bit more to this. You could add flowers on your grass. You could add a nest underneath, which is what I'm going to do now. But that, I would say, is more than enough for today. But if you want to do extra, we were in the garden yesterday and we collected a load of twigs. So what I did, me and Hans did, and then Hans didn't bother actually taking part. So what I would do first of all is underneath the egg is just put in a little bit of brown, just to give it a little bit of a head start, just with your oil pastel, or if you've got paint or pencils or crayons or anything, just helps that nest stand out. Gives it a wee bit of a start. So I've just done a little bit like that. And then what you can do, now, best thing to use for this is PVA glue. Pit stick glue is not quite strong enough, so I've just got some here, just with some cardboard, because I just chuck this out at the end because it's going in the bin anyway. It saves me have to try and wash up afterwards. So just lay down a load of PVA glue there. It dries clear, so don't worry about it destroying your picture. And then get some of the little twigs. I won't be able to hold this up at the end because they're going to fall off, but you can start to lay some little twigs on the bottom, which will just look like a wee nest. Crisscross them over as well. So you might actually be easier when you start to layer them over, lay the twig into the glue and just stick it on.
Fine.
Awesome. Oh, I like all your cracks. I'm sure they're on the end. And as per usual, post your photos at the end of this because I would love to see all the different options, all the different techniques that you've used. That way this ends up being a bit of a learning curve for me as well, because last week, I can't remember who the wee superstar was that did the teddy bear. Oh, I do remember who it was Katie. One of my Prime 7 girls did a fantastic job of the, what lesson was it? Oh, it was the tear bears. She did the tear bears, but she did it as a bunny instead, and it got me thinking, hey, next time do this as a bunny lesson for Easter. So I love all this because I get to see what you've been up to, and it also helps me a little bit. I can't really see, I can't hold this up high because all the twigs are going to fall because it's still wet and all the comments are blocking it, but I hope that looks alright there. So, add some twigs if you want to. Alex has done an amazing job. He's put loads and loads of cracks on the side of his egg. It's brilliant. Okay, so you've got that as well on top of it. And that is about us. What are we at? 28 minutes past. I did say to Mr. C this would only take half an hour. So thank you so much. Hello, Lisa. You know. Oh, well.
Okay, 10 minutes.
That's a nice thing to say. Your old playgroup teacher's talking to you. Lisa. Do you remember Lisa from playgroup? Playgroup in Bridge of Bern. Fantastic playgroup. We put up with people like that for 2 years. But Lisa doesn't work there anymore. She's decided to go freelance. Is it cherry blossom therapies, doing massages and stuff. I've still not been along. I've heard it's very, very nice though. Right, I suppose we better wrap things up. There she goes, she's saying hi, Alex. Better wrap things up for today. So as per usual, if you have got anything that you would like to do for a lesson, please just PM me. Let me know of any ideas that you might have, anything you're struggling with. Again, give me some feedback if there's anything constructive, like something didn't quite work out there for you, maybe I forgot some vital ingredients. Also tomorrow for Pringy 47 there's another Easter craft going on. It's a pop-up Easter chick card. Well, you can turn it into a card, it's up to you what you turn it into. It doesn't need to be an Easter chick, by the way. Use your creativity, it could be something else, another type of animal. I've not done it actually as an Easter one before, I've done it as a Halloween spider or a pumpkin thing, so I'm actually going away now to practice first, so I've got a finished example. So that'll be tomorrow. Friday as well. Alex, you're using Pret Stick
I know.
for the sticks.
It's too hard for
Never listens. PVA glue for the sticks, it's stronger. And what you can do, where did the cardboard go that had the glue on it? Did you just like put some glue on that? Oh my goodness, I was saying bye to everyone and you just
Yeah,
tried to.
I put this on it.
No, don't use Pret Stick glue. Pret Stick's good
Okay.
for paper and paper and dip the sticks in there. I'm sorry everybody. So Friday also we are going to use cardboard from our Easter egg packaging. Good excuse to get started early and turn them into funky Easter geometric patterns style painting things.
Okay.
Still don't really know yet because I've not done that yet either. I've not done it as eggs, I've done it as circles in the past, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So that will be Friday's lesson as well. Next week, what have I put up there? Next week I think probably looking at lambs, maybe the wee ones, and I was going to do daffodils. Daffodil art with the big ones, but you've said that you want to do some space pictures.
Yeah.
So we need to do that at some point. So yeah, we're in for the long haul probably with this, so we'll just keep going. So thank you everybody so much. I don't know if I can hold that up because it's really wet, but oh, there goes a stick. Looking cute though. Okay, lots of love. I'll away and finish off now. I'll post this. Please remember to send me your pictures of the finished examples. And yeah, have a nice remainder of Monday. It's sunny, but it's very windy. Take care. Bye everybody.